Judges with the International Criminal Court say there's enough reason to believe U.S. armed forces and the CIA committed war crimes in Afghanistan, but they declined to investigate the allegations. Legal journalist Molly Barrows with the National Trial Lawyer magazine has more. Tell me about this story.
Well, it's interesting. Basically, the International Criminal Court, a prosecutor was bringing some 20,000 pages of documentation showing that a number of groups, including the Taliban, Afghan forces, as well as U.S. personnel, including the CIA, had committed a series of war crimes dating back to 2003. So they wanted permission from the ICC to investigate these. And basically, the ICC took a look at it and said, it's not that we don't think that there's grounds to investigate, but we simply don't see that this is going to produce any kind of successful result as far as an investigation. We're getting no cooperation from the U.S. or any other parties that you want to investigate. There's still a war going on in Afghanistan. So due to the circumstances of this case, we're not going to pursue an investigation. And of course, you have human rights groups reacting, saying this is sending the wrong message. It's basically saying if you're out of reach and uncooperative, then you can get away with committing atrocities. And the United States, of course, is thrilled because they don't feel like that they should be held accountable to the ICC. They never have.
Well, that's why they're so down on Julian Assange. I mean, right. Julian Assange right now is being victimized in the worst kind of way, and the American journalism process thinks it's wonderful. Yeah, let's attack Julian Assange because he's one of the vehicles that actually told some of these stories. And so, right. It's almost like saying, Nuremberg really wasn't all that important. We really couldn't get any convictions.
Exactly.
If you take a look at some of these crimes, they are horrendous.
Yes.
And so you have an international cabal that says, yeah, this is really bad. Genocide is really bad. We hate that we killed all these.
We sure hate it.
We hate it, but by golly, we can't have a trial because France won't participate, Italy won't participate, the U.S. won't participate, and they won't give us enough information. So I'm just wondering, is that where police work ends because you don't get cooperation, or what do you do?
Well, apparently so, and that's exactly what some of these other foreign entities are saying. Instead of the United States essentially bullying or throwing its weight around so that they're never held responsible. But according to the United States, they feel like that, and the White House issued a statement on this in particular, welcoming this decision and saying that, we hold ourselves and our citizens to the highest ethical standards as well. But we certainly know that that is not the case. I mean, it's blurry while we're still in Yemen, which is a Saudi-led, conflict.
Yeah.
And so if we're going to take this stance, just saying we didn't do it doesn't really come across like we're being a good neighbor.
Well, let me take you back in time. Let me take you when the UK and the US and France and everybody understood that Henry Kissinger was the little freak behind Cambodia.
Right.
He was a little freak who assassinated, had the assassination of Allende. And the same thing flared up then. It was, shouldn't we take a look at this? Shouldn't we at least, even if we're not going to prosecute the little character, shouldn't we take a look at it? And it all died. And the only people that were right, the only people that really preserve that history are people like Howard Zinn and Chalmers Johnson, because there was no hearing.
Right.
You see,
it's not vetted.
You begin by you might lose the conviction. Right. Chances are you can't make it happen.
Anyway.
But you tell the story. And so that's what that little freak Henry Kissinger got away with.
Right.
There's no question. He had Allende murdered and replaced with Pinochet. They had all the information. If they would have just said, maybe we can't convict him, but we're going to put a trial on anyway. We're going to show the world what happened here.
Right. And in this case, we did the exact opposite. Instead of saying we're going to have some form of transparency to show that we're at least going to be good neighbors and part of the process, the White House even stripped the U.S. visa credentials, basically, of the prosecutor who was looking into this war crimes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's just retribution.
Yeah.
Just,
right.
we're bigger than you.
Don't look into this.
Yeah.
Don't look into this. We've seen it with human trafficking, and we've seen it with international drug trade. Don't look into this, and the prosecutors disappear. Don't disappear, but they take them out of their job. They never have the hearing, and nobody ever hears the facts. This is just more of the same here, Molly.
You're exactly right, Matt.
Thanks for joining me,
Thanks.
Okay?